All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, we are diving into what is, I've got to say, one of the wildest hardware hacks I have ever seen. This comes to us from Philippe over at Cisco Talos, straight from a presentation at Black Hat. And it all starts with this crazy question. What in the world do a business laptop, a plastic finger, and a green onion have in common?
Yep, you heard that right. Let's get into it.
Okay, so take a look at this. What you're seeing right now is a high-security Dell laptop being unlocked with a plastic finger. But not just any plastic finger, one with a little piece of green onion taped to it. And this quote from the researcher Felipe just says it all. See, the plastic finger on its own? It wouldn't work. But that little piece of onion, because it's organic, well, that's just enough to trigger the fingerprint sensor. And here's the kicker. Because the firmware on the device is totally compromised, it just accepts anything. It basically goes, an onion? Sure, why not? Welcome in. And just like that, the laptop unlocks. It's wild. So the big question is, how on earth is this even possible? How do you get a computer to trust a vegetable from your fridge more than an actual human fingerprint? Now, I want to be clear, this isn't some simple software glitch or a neat trick. No. This is the result of a really deep, really persistent hardware compromise. And we're going to break down exactly how it all works step by step. So, where do we even begin with this? Well, the whole story starts with this tiny, kind of unassuming component that's tucked away inside literally millions of business laptops. It's something that's supposed to be completely trusted. It's called Dell's Control Vault. Right, so this little board, Control Vault, what does it even do? Well, its entire job, its whole reason for being, is to act as a secure gatekeeper. Think of it like a bouncer for your laptop's most sensitive parts. You know, stuff like the fingerprint reader, the smart card reader. It manages the communication between those things and the rest of your computer. It's specifically designed to be a fortress to keep your biometric data safe and sound. And here's where things get really interesting, because this really shows you the sheer scale of the problem. We're not talking about some obscure one-off model here. Oh no, this Control Vault component is in over 100 different Dell laptop models. And these are the big ones too. Mostly they're Latitude and Precision business lines. You know, the kind of hardware that's deployed in huge corporations all over the globe. Okay, so how did he actually pull this off? Well, Felipe called his attack Revolt, and honestly, it's a work of art. It's this brilliant chain reaction where he takes two separate, pretty small bugs and weaves them together to create this one giant hole that gives him complete, total control of the board. And this little detail, it just perfectly shows the level of control he had. It's a bit of a flex, really. Once he completely owned the board, he could rewrite pretty much anything he wanted, including the name of the device itself. So when the operating system asks, "Who are you?" instead of saying Control Vault, it proudly reports back Control Pound. I mean, you gotta love that. So let's walk through the attack. It's basically a four-step process. First up, he uses a bug to trick the board's memory management, essentially throwing it into a state of total chaos. Then, in step two, he weaponizes that chaos to trigger a second bug, which lets him hijack the whole process. Now he's in control. So for step three, he uses that control to steal the board's crown jewels, its unique encryption and authentication keys. And finally, the endgame. With those keys, he can write his own malicious permanent firmware right onto the chip. Okay, so this is the point where the attack goes from being, a really clever hack to something truly, deeply dangerous. Because once that malicious firmware gets written to the chip, it is there for good. You have to remember, this Control Vault board, it's like its own tiny, separate computer living inside your laptop. And that malicious code, that implant, is now literally burned into its firmware. It's completely separate from your main operating system, completely separate from your hard drive. It means the hardware itself is now the enemy. So what does an attacker get with this? Well, they get what we call true persistence. And I mean true. The hack survives a reboot, no problem. But get this, it even survives a complete wipe of the hard drive and a fresh reinstallation of Windows. You could literally format the drive, install a clean OS, and the hack is still there, waiting. An attacker can use it to launch a reverse shell, which is basically a secret backdoor into your machine. And that backdoor? It runs with system-level privileges. That's the highest level of access you can possibly get on Windows. It's game over. Okay, this is all fascinating from a technical standpoint, right? But what does it actually mean in the real world? Like, how could this actually be used against someone? Well, Philippe laid out two main scenarios. All right, you've got two main ways this can go down. First, there's the software-only attack. Imagine you get tricked into running some malicious piece of code, maybe from a phishing email or something. That code could then silently talk to the control vault board and rewrite the firmware, all without the attacker ever touching your machine. But then there's the physical attack, and this one is scary. If an attacker gets their hands on your laptop for just a few minutes, they can pop it open, hook the control vault board up to their own little device, and flash the bad firmware directly. This bypasses everything: your Windows password, your disk encryption, all of it. And this is really the big takeaway here. This is what's so terrifying about an attack like this. It completely flips our whole idea of computer security on its head. You know, we're always taught that if you get a nasty virus, the ultimate solution is to just wipe the hard drive and reinstall Windows, right? Start fresh. But that doesn't work here. That does nothing. Because the hardware itself is compromised, and it's lying to the software. No matter how many times you clean the OS, the infection is still there, waiting. And that really leaves us with a huge, kind of scary question, doesn't it? If you can wipe your operating system completely clean, but the hack is still there, what part of your computer do you actually trust anymore? I mean, this is a powerful reminder that security is all about layers, and sometimes the vulnerabilities go much, much deeper than we think, all the way down to the metal.